Alright, welcome back to Shaving with Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. How y'all on a Tuesday evening? So we go in tonight in compliments of a hurricane that's going to be coming through. Probably going to be a hurricane. Looks like it's going to be a little. They could even be fun, but it's going to come right up through my living room, looks like. So anyway, Fuzzy's part of the emergency response team at work, so I go in tonight for my regular 10 to 6, and then in the morning, I'm there until it's over with, which means they pay me until it's over with. It's not, there's drawbacks to being on an emergency team like that, in that you got to put up being around people, and we'll have inflatable beds and a little area that we sleep in. But since we're working at nights, we're sleeping in the day, which we do. But at home I got blackout curtains, and everybody knows to leave me alone, and it's easier. This is going to kind of like be at camp, and you got to put up with other people's peculiarities and things. So it's not that bad. Well, probably the worst part is they got to put up with my quirks. That is probably the worst part of the whole thing. But anyway, so we got the old goat trimmed up there. Get us some water going, because we do shave over the sink. Ooh, this sink's in bad shape. Oh, I got to teach Double O Devin how to clean up a little better. But anyway, no big deal. All right, here we go. So I'd been noticing that there was a spot in my living room floor that the carpet was wet. Now, I blamed it on the dogs. And then it became quite apparent that, dogs weren't doing that. Double O Devin picked up on it before I did. But anyway, hot water heater was leaking in the kitchen, which is right behind the wall from there. So I had to get a new hot water heater put in. That ended up being not as painful of a ordeal as I thought it might. It actually went pretty smooth. The maintenance guy here, Andy, wasn't his first rodeo on putting one of those in, so it worked out pretty good. Got a new hot water tank in, and heck, I even put up a new shower curtain the other day. It's just clear, ain't nothing to look at. I got to get it's actually a shower liner. I'll get a curtain one of these days. So I was digging around and noticed I hadn't used Razor Rock in a while. Tuscan Oud, O-U-D. Is that pronouncing that right? Italian shaving soap. But this stuff, and again, why do we, sniff snuff knowing you can't sniff it, but it doesn't matter. It's what we do. So anyway, I haven't used this very much at all, and I don't know why. Razor Rock's a really good soap, and this scent is really nice. We're going to finish up with the Lustre Coachman, which is just renamed Clubman. I can't tell any different in the scent. I still say that. Anyway, we do have a little bit to shave today. Maybe I cheated and didn't shave when I worked last night. But we'll see. And of course, everybody went into full buying mode and cleared out all the water and all the bread and all the TP and everything on the shelves at the store. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but I realized that I've gotten a little complacent myself. Because used to, I wouldn't have had to go into the store and buy anything. It'd already all be here. So I've gotten a little complacent. We haven't had a storm, and we hadn't had a bad storm in a while. But here in Baton Rouge anyway. So anyway, I got plenty of stuff. I'm going to be, like I said, at work. And Agent Double O Devin's going to be here. Him and Miss Luna. Mr. Hash Brown. All right, so we're going to use a horsehair brush. And something I haven't used in a while, the Schick F. How you like that? They only made them 1 year for World War II. Then they wanted to use the metals there and making airplanes and stuff like that, so they didn't make it into razor handles after that. So my F was gifted to me by a very good friend that I haven't heard from in a while. Hope he's doing all right. But anyway, so that's what we're going to shave with today. And we got the V-Long horsehair brush. Now, I like a horsehair brush. I think a horse brush is basically just the same as a badger brush to me, as long as it's got a good mix of mane in it. The tail hair is kind of floppy. I had I still do somewhere, but it's very floppy, the one that's made out of the tail. But the one that's got mostly a mix of the, a good mix of the mane in it, you get a real nice brush that's really, really comparable to boar, in my opinion. And I think that works pretty good. But I'm at the, just more rambling on. I'm going to have to get a hold of my pop and see if he made it into Houston all right. He had called me earlier today and said that, well, I think he's going to be tomorrow before he's going to try to fly him. Anyway, he was asking if I was going to ride the storm out, and I told him, well, I was going to be at work and all that. And I asked him how he was doing. He said he was doing great. He was in Phoenix, Arizona. So I figure Phoenix is a pretty good place to be when there's a hurricane coming in South Louisiana. Going to Phoenix is not bad, in my opinion. I hadn't been to Phoenix in years. It's been, let's see, it's been 22 years since I moved from Arizona. I lived in Tucson for 5 years. And I didn't go to Phoenix that much, so it's probably been 25, 26 years since I've been to Phoenix. Don't miss Phoenix. I like Tucson. I'd go back to Tucson, but Phoenix was just too hot. Tucson still had enough sand at that time and stuff to where at night the heat would radiate out and it was bearable. Phoenix was miserable all the time. Oh, such a nice shower. I couldn't remember. I got a post-nasal drip that's trying to kill me. Had it for weeks, and I expect to have it a few weeks more. It happens a lot every year. Oh, but anyway, I couldn't remember how old the blade was because I haven't used this thing, but this is practically a brand new blade. And any of you guys that use Schick razors and know that a new blade and a Schick is just one of the smoothest things around. Even with that little bit of growth we had, there was no problem. You see right there how it's cleaning all that stuff up. No problems at all. And the F is just classy. Now, some people talk about how the F, how good it shaves compared to this one, compared to that one. I don't feel any different. It's a Schick. Now, some Schicks have a little more blade feel. Usually the older ones, the E's and the G's, have more blade feel than some of the newer models. But they all shave like a Schick. I've got some E2s that feel nice and mild, and then I've got one E2 that's the most aggressive feeling thing you got. Same with my G's. I got a G8 that I think is one of the most aggressive feeling razors I've ever shaved with. And, you know, then I've got some G8s that just feel mild, but they all work good. I mean, look at that. Just on the first pass, it's cleaned everything up. I could go to work right like this and nobody'd say anything at all. We're not going to do that. We're going to go for our second round, of course. But, and if you're one of these strange people that have never used a Schick, I want to check into it. I mean, if you're one of the ones that only want to go for the new stuff and you don't want to use the vintage stuff, I think there's some folks out there that are making, you know, injector type, aren't they? I don't know. I don't keep up with the new stuff that much, but, you know, I haven't shaved with any of them. I mean, I've shaved with some razors that uses an injector blade, but it's not actually an injector razor. But, you know, this is just class. It's classy knowing that how old this thing is. That they're only made for a year, so it's not the most common model to find. And if I would have had to pay for it, I wouldn't have one. The prices were just beyond what I would pay. Luckily, I've got good friends that think I needed it. But here it is, still being used. Alrighty. But I'm trying to remember the name of the razor, the razor that's an injector. Someone in the comments will have to correct me on it and fill me in. I've gone absolutely brain dead. Oh. But injector razors are very nice, and if you're scared to do, you know, traditional wet shaving, because you don't, the vintage razors bother you or scare you, a Schick is really close. The closest thing just about that you're going to get to plastic cart garbage, the modern stuff, is a Schick razor. And you still have to understand how to use a real razor. Angle, pressure, technique comes into play, everything. But it may be a little less daunting to you than, bringing out a 1912 or a Jim Jr. bar or something like that, which are just as easy to shave with, by the way. All right, a little witch hazel here. We're going to do our 3-pass shave, 2 lather passes and a cleanup. Getting ready for work tonight. Maybe if I stay long enough at work and I need to do a shave there, I've got my one of my G3 sets with me. My travel bore from Omega that I used here a while back. And I've got Williams, my travel container of Williams. And if I get a chance, I'll do a video at work maybe. I've done that before at the plant when I had to stay over. So, definitely a possibility. So that's kind of what's going on. And the youngins still ain't learned to drive any better. It was something. We had our first LSU home game Saturday. And luckily I wasn't at home for the game. I was out working. We had a gentleman that somehow or the other ended up driving into the front doors of a bank. Literally drove in. He was all the way in the place. Foot never came off the gas. Tire spinning. Truck exploded. And it gutted the inside. Just burned the whole inside of the bank down. And so we had to start 24/7 coverage. They boarded the building up, but we had to start 24/7 coverage. So I was out there. I was the first one out there like 4:30 Friday afternoon. And then I went back Saturday and Sunday night. So when they were having the game and all that stuff, I was over across town working, so I didn't have to put up with all the traffic and all. So I'm not complaining about that, by the way. I didn't know anything about the traffic when I moved here. Reason I moved into these apartments was because of price. Pure and simple. They were the cheapest. They were the cheapest that I could find. They were close to where I was working at the time. And I didn't ask too many questions. But I quickly learned about LSU football and the way the idiots park when they come to the games. If you ain't never experienced it, it's something. And I imagine it's not just LSU. I imagine that's everywhere where they have big events like that. Everybody just parks everywhere all over the place. But anyway, people are going to do what people are going to do. Well, there we go. That's Tuesday. We're going to get a shower, finish getting cleaned up, get a nibble, go to work, and be there till after the storm. Hopefully it's not a very big one, and everybody comes out okay. My friends down closer to the coast, y'all buckle up, Buttercup. Over in Hammond, Matthew, buckle up, sir. And all that kind of good stuff. And we'll see you out the other side if we don't get to do a video while we're at work, which we may. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, happy shaves to you.